So let's back that up. Right hand, nothing. Bend it all the way back. Keep it all the way back. Palm to target. Right hand, nothing. Bend it all the way back. Keep it all the way back. Palm to target. Hey guys, so it's that time of year again for us at CogornoGolf.com. Our prices will be going up as of July 15th. And I want to make sure you're aware of this. So if you sign up before July 15th, you lock in our current prices forever for as long as you're a member. So currently our prices are $69 a month or $495 for our yearly price. As of July 15th, they will be going up to $89 a month and $595 for the yearly. You guys have showed us awesome support, and to keep up with our demand, right, we have no choice, but eventually we have to raise some of those prices. Myself and all of our coaches are there 24/7 for you to send in your swings, right? We give you that monthly feedback that you get and answer all the questions you have. I'm telling you guys, it's awesome. I wish I had this back when I was playing to use as a resource. You get all of our practice plans. You get a specific plan from a coach, what drills to do, what priorities to focus on, what not to focus on, how many reps to do of those drills, when to move on to the next piece. And guess what? We don't just leave you go do them. We're there. Ask us questions. We help you guide through feels. All of us have been working on our own games. We know what it's like to take your game to the next level. You're going to absolutely love our community there. July 15th is when those prices go up. If you want to lock in that lower price, you've been thinking about joining, I urge you to do so. I'm very confident we can help you with your golf game. We'll put the link to Cogorno Golf down below. So the plate drill, what's this all about? This is one of my favorite drills to learn how the trail wrist or right wrist or the lead wrist or left wrist works during both the backswing and downswing. I love this one. I recommend it a lot for a lot of players that I work with. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if you could just grab a plate, right? A little plate from the kitchen works fine. And I want you to put it in between your hands and hold it just like you're taking a normal setup. Now, for the time being, it doesn't matter which side you have. We'll talk about that as we go. But I just want to have both hands on the plate here. And during my backswing and downswing, I can use this plate to learn how my wrists need to work. Let's say we focus in on this right wrist first during the backswing. So the general idea of this right wrist, when I take my setup position, there's not a lot of bend there. Okay, if I just take my setup position for a second, and we look at my right wrist, there's not a lot of bend there, right? My right wrist is fairly flat at my setup position. But by the time I get to impact, it should be bent back. So at some point during my swing, my right wrist needs to go from flat to bent back. How, when, who, what, where do I do that? So let's take this plate back in, put my right hand on the front of the plate. Now during my backswing, I want to feel like I'm bending my right wrist back. I'm creating that backward bend. I'm not doing a ton of that during my takeaway. I would suggest from your takeaway until about your hands get to your right thigh or past your right thigh, I wouldn't add a ton of wrist bend there. I'd keep that fairly neutral. When I put a club in with that, that will help keep the club head on plane, even with or slightly outside my hands. If I start over bending early, you can see how the club head gets inside early. Potentially not a huge issue, but I wouldn't do it super early. So I want to have the right wrist fairly neutral. So the plate is on about a 45-degree angle when I complete what I would call sort of the transition phase here. Now from here to the top is where I want to throw in that trail wrist extension or the right wrist bending back. So from here to the top, I want to feel like my right wrist gets about as bent back as I can get it. So the angle between my knuckles and my forearm here, right, if we look at this, this is about as far back as I can get it. So I can't really go any more back than that. There's tension in my forearm. That's how I know I did. There should be tension in your forearm when you do this correctly. So I really feel like my fingernails on the plate are bending, are going away from the target. Neutral to the takeaway, plate's 45 degrees. Now I feel like my fingernails are bending back. That's what I feel. You can feel anything. You don't have to feel your fingernails. But I feel the right wrist bending back. Now as I do that, I feel tension in my forearm on purpose, exaggerated. Notice what happened to my left hand. Glove's gone. If my right wrist is bent back, my left wrist automatically is where? It's flat or even slightly bowed, right? If we look at this angle of my left forearm at the top, if I put this through my arm here, you see my wrist is actually a little bit this way. So here'd be flat. right? So my wrist and arm are on one line. This is a little bit bowed or flex. You see that there? So it's actually on the bottom side of where that shaft is at. So if I bend my right wrist back all the way, that goes to that point automatically, that little bowed left wrist. So I love that for just a little takeaway. Here again, right hand on the front, neutral, maximum right wrist bend up to the top. So that gives me my bowed left wrist automatically. That'll help keep the club face square, keep the dynamic loft flow. What do I do from there? Well, what I would do is I would keep that right wrist bent back maximum to the point where the club would be about parallel to the ground. Notice my left wrist is still a little bit bowed there at that point. Now I take it from here to impact. I feel like I'm giving a little bit of like a hitchhiker, like a thumb to the side. So I'm going from here, and then my back of my hand gets to the target, and my right palm gets to the target. So let's back that up. Right hand, nothing, bend it all the way back, keep it all the way back, palm to target. Right hand, nothing, bend it all the way back, keep it all the way back, palm to target. Now let's say you don't want to have this little other pause here or this pause early. Nothing early, bend it back, keep it back, palm to target. Keep the right wrist bent back, get the palm to point towards the target. That'll square up the club face. Left hand, nothing. Little bit of bow, keep it bowed, back of the hand towards the target. Nothing. Little bit of bow, keep it bowed, back of the hand towards the target. So there's a little bit of this motion at the bottom to get the club face square. Absolutely necessary in every single golf swing, no matter what. How much you do depends a little on your grip, but you want to get the back of the hand towards the target. See this thumb motion at the bottom. So when I get to impact, especially if you struggle with contact, I would still see my knuckles, my fingernails are behind my wrist bone. Here's my fingernails in front of my wrist bone. So I'm adding loft to the plate, yeah? Here's me doing it this way, the plate's still pointed down towards the ground. This part, this plate here, this little logo, IKEA, is pointed down towards the ground. Down towards the ground. My fingernails are behind my wrist. My right fingernails are back behind my wrist in the impact. That's what your impact should feel like. Can I do this with all clubs? Yes, yes. How much should you do this? You know, I would use video to confirm it. You can do this and feel this on the way back or the way down is fine. I really personally like to feel the plate feel from about here to impact. That's what I like. I like here. So now at impact, I feel, feels to me like my fingernails are behind my wrist bone. My palm is pointed at the target and down. It feels like my fingernails here are behind my wrist bone and the back of my glove is pointed towards the target. That should take my club face, should square my club face and lower the loft, right? So I want to be able to hit my 7-iron like as far as I hit my 6-iron, right? I want to hit it farther. So as I start to feel those, I want to feel that from here to here, just like I had that plate in there. So I would even do it like this, 1 or 2 rehearsals, here, here. And then I would bring this in and feel the same thing. I've got a 7-iron here, but I want to feel that same motion. A little bit of a twisting here in impact. So let's go ahead and feel one with that. Yeah, I mean, that's good. I like that feel a lot. And the reason I like that feel a lot too is because that should really work for just about everyone. It almost doesn't matter what your swing style is. Now, if you go back and you struggle with wrist angles during your backswing, you get it too inside too early like this, I would then take the plate and really focus on doing nothing here. Have the plate on a 45. You would normally have the plate on a 45 this way. Feel the plate 45 that way. If you go to the top and your left wrist gets cupped and your right wrist is too flat and the face is open, then you would really feel it mostly from the takeaway to the top. Bend the right wrist back this way. Get the IKEA pointed up towards the sky. If you struggle with coming down early in transition, steep this way. Shaft steep, face open, left wrist cup, right wrist flat. Then you take it and focus on it there. Really focus on bending it this way in transition. And of course, if you struggle with the impact locations, you use that for that. So that's the plate drill. It works for a lot of different things. It really helps the wrist angles. We all have a plate at home. Go ahead and grab a plate, give it a try. If you guys liked this video, do us a favor, click that gray little thumbs up button down at the bottom. Really helps us out. Also, if you like this video on wrist angles, we'll put another card on the screen, similar style video to this on wrist angles. We'll put the logo to cogornogolf.com. Would love to work with you there.